Raider Nation, what's going on? The Raiders just made a move in the sixth round that fans are going to love, selecting JJ Pegues, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss, with the 180th pick. Now, I'm a big believer in having a plan, and this pick shows that the Raiders do too. And here's the twist. I think Pegues could see time on both sides of the ball, defense and offense. Coming up, I'll break down exactly how I think the Raiders are planning to use him. If you're hoping the team can replicate some of the strategies that helped the Philadelphia Eagles dominate the trenches and ultimately beat teams like the Chiefs, this move feels very familiar. But first, let's dive into what JJ Pegues brings to the table defensively. He's 23 years old, standing 6 feet 2 inches and weighing 309 pounds. We've been saying it for a while now. The Raiders are serious about getting bigger and stronger in the trenches. Earlier in round 4, they added Tonka Hemingway, another versatile defensive lineman. Pegues fits that same mold. Last season at Ole Miss, he racked up 42 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks. Some quick facts. He's turning 24 this November, and in 2023, he didn't miss a single tackle. Impressive for a nose tackle. He's known for his high character, athletic ability, and surprising flexibility for a man his size. At Ole Miss, he wasn't just locked in at defensive tackle. They moved him outside too, lining him up at edge. That versatility is key. NFL draft boards had him ranked around the 177th overall prospect. And speaking of versatility, get this, he's even flashed in short yardage offensive roles, showing surprising burst off the line. Sure, he still needs to improve when facing double teams and working through counters, but he's far from just a space eater. The Raiders' strategy here is clear. Keep building around stars like Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins. Bring in guys who help the defense as a whole. Players who make Malcolm Kuntz better, who make Adam Butler better, who take the pressure off the edge rushers. When you look at all the picks so far, both on offense and defense, you can see a clear focus. Building around cornerstone players and creating as much versatility as possible. Patrick Graham loves defensive linemen who can move around and create mismatches. Both of the defensive linemen drafted today, Pegues and Hemingway, bring that versatility. Same with the 2 offensive linemen the Raiders took earlier. High character, flexible players who fit multiple roles. This draft isn't just about plugging holes. It's about building a foundation for the future. When you build a program focused on high character players, guys who buy into the vision for 2 or 3 years, you're building something that lasts. And if you didn't know the name JJ Pegues before today, I can almost guarantee you'll remember it by the end of this breakdown. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. I believe the Raiders plan to use Pegues not just on defense, but on offense too. Let's dig into it. At Ole Miss, Pegues was used as a short yardage back. In 2024, he had 21 carries and turned 18 of them into either first downs or touchdowns. That's an insane success rate. Ole Miss lined him up in those critical short yardage situations, and he even got some reps at fullback. Right now, if you look at the Raiders' running back room, there isn't really a true fullback option on the roster. Pegues could quietly fill that gap. A big, athletic body you can trust in goal line situations. It might sound a little funny at first, but you could think of Pegues as a short yardage replacement for someone like Zamir White. And a quick note, Isaiah Spiller was released recently, so the depth chart at running back has shifted. Now zooming out, NFL teams love to copy strategies that work. And if you watch the Eagles bulldoze their way past Kansas City in the Super Bowl, you know exactly how important dominating the trenches can be. Philly doubled down on the defensive line even when they didn't have an obvious need, grabbing Jalen Carter after already adding Jordan Davis and Milton Williams. It wasn't about plugging holes. It was about overwhelming opponents with strength and depth. The Raiders are taking a page from that same playbook. They entered this draft with a strong defensive front and still made it stronger by adding versatile, athletic big men who make their stars even better. And speaking of Philadelphia, they've perfected the tush push, that unstoppable QB sneak play. If the NFL eventually bans that specific technique, maybe the next version is lining up a 6'2", 310-pound athlete like JJ Pegues in short yardage situations and letting him blast forward for the first down. Think about it. A powerful, athletic defensive tackle, one who's already proven he can convert short yardage carries, now on your offense when you need a few tough yards. You wanted a replacement for Josh Jacobs? How about a new JJ instead? Pegues isn't just a big guy. He's a real football player. And when you find real football players, guys who love the game and can impact it in different ways, you don't overthink it. You go get them. The Raiders understood the assignment with this pick. And speaking of moves around the league, just as the Raiders were making this selection, quarterback Will Howard came off the board to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, one thing I can't help but wonder, with 3 picks still left, 213, 215, and another at 222, could the Raiders use one of those to move up and grab a quarterback? If the Raiders still want a QB, it feels like there's really only one guy they'd target, Quinn Ewers. And if they don't end up selecting a quarterback in this draft, keep an eye on Cam Miller from North Dakota State. The Raiders had a top 30 visit with him, so there's definitely interest there. Meanwhile, Will Howard just came off the board to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a great opportunity for Howard, and honestly, it's a pick Steelers fans should be excited about. Back to the Raiders, though. If they were thinking about moving up, it would likely be for Ewers. Personally, I'd rather see them stick with Aiden O'Connell rather than trade up for Quinn Ewers or use another pick on a quarterback at this point. Instead, I'd love to see the Raiders focus on adding a linebacker, a real need that could make a major difference for the defense. And remember, every time the Raiders make a move, we'll be breaking it all down, giving you instant reactions, analysis, and a deeper look into how each pick fits into the bigger plan. Stay locked in.